What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 29. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason. I'm joined, as always, by Travis. Travis, Happy New Year. What's good today?
Not much, man. I'm glad it's 2021 and now the virus is over, and all of our social distrust and unrest is over too.
Yeah, all of the world's problems are now over, if you guys didn't know, and everything is anew again. And with a new year begs the question, Travis, does a new year mean a new you, or is it the same old Travis?
No, I think it's silly that we celebrate the Earth going around the sun once in the first place.
It's a big deal. We made it all the way around. You kidding me?
It's like an arbitrary thing we assigned, but that's with anything though. I guess you could say that about language or Easter or Valentine's Day.
Sure. It's not quite a Hallmark holiday like like Valentine's or St. Patrick's Day or whatever, but it's pretty close.
It's in the I guess the limbo between Christmas and like St. Valentine's Day. It's somewhere like Cinco de Mayo is higher though. You know what I mean? Like 4th of July is higher, but it's
Sure.
like under those,
Yeah, that's fair. Well, Travis, for the uninitiated or the noobs here on the podcast, we are a PlayStation podcast where you and I get together each and every week to discuss all the news, rumors, upcoming game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. We post new episodes on Sunday, so if you don't want to miss an episode, and if you enjoy what you hear here, we would appreciate if you would subscribe and leave us a review on your podcast service. That certainly helps. And then also, why not share us with a friend if you think you may have one that would enjoy a podcast such as this, where they can get all the PlayStation news in under 90 minutes every week. If you guys want to reach out to us, you can do that on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. And if you want to check out some of our game streams and clips, you can find us on YouTube at the DualSense Podcast. Without further ado, Travis, talk to me about what you've been playing.
Before we get too far down the road, I want to give a big shout out to the guy who gave us downvote on our YouTube top 10 games to the PS4 era.
Yes, we got one downvote. Don't worry, I rescued it. I gave us an upvote.
I wonder what was he upset about our list? Did he not like our delivery? There's a lot of questions I have.
I know, like, I agree. That's the thing. Like, I'm cool with a downvote. Whatever. If you didn't like it, that's fine.
Just tell me why.
Yeah, leave a comment and say, hey, this sucked because I hate the way you guys sound, or this sucked because your list sucked. Like,
right, yeah. Where's Yakuza at? Yakuza should be on here. Every Yakuza game should be on here.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Final Fantasy
context.
Yeah, just give me context. All right, this week was a weird week because I was at my in-laws, so definitely.
Well, don't forget. This is for our last episode came out on the 20th. That was up to date. So the past 2 weeks, really.
So me and my wife finally beat the Bridge to Nowhere on Crash Bandicoot. It took us like 3 days. I was refusing to look up a walkthrough, and then I finally did. And you can walk on the ropes, which I thought you could walk on the ropes, but I wasn't 100% sure. And there's like one section where you kind of have to do that to get through. So once I watched the walkthrough, I did it in like 2 tries. So there you go.
Nice.
Anyway, let's play a little bit of that. Normal Black Ops stuff. Been using the RPD again. I really enjoy the RPD. God, it's just so smooth. Played some Prop Hunt, and I'm so bad at it. First of all, the props move so fast.
They do,
and it's so hard to kill them. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And when I am a prop, I never seem to like hide very well. I did learn that if you put your decoys out and somebody shoots the decoys, you get points for that. So I've been putting decoys out. I want to do this thing where we get like 6 people online, and then we all just run straight across and just put a wall of decoys in front of them when they spawn. I think that would be hilarious.
That would be.
But anyway, I'm terrible at that. I don't think I've ever won. I might have won one round. I think I've killed 2 props. It's just really hard. But other than that, normal Black Ops stuff. I think my KD went up again. I'm closing in on 1.4 overall. I think my team death is like 1.5. So it's something
Nice.
stupid. Play their 2K league. I
Hmm.
had a couple of close wins. I was beating the crap out of Sacramento. I was up like 14-0 at one point. They called 2 timeouts in the first quarter. I was kicking ass. And then I won
Jeez.
the game. I won the game by 3. So that went pretty well. And I've made the decision to start Baisley over Horford finally.
How's that?
Haven't played yet with him. The reason I did that was I thought about doing it off the gate, and then I thought, well, Horford, he has all these badges. I'll play him. And
Yeah.
Horford actually won the first game of the year. He won it for me in the fourth quarter. Like he got like every rebound and was scoring all the points. So I was like, perfect. And the last couple of games, I was using Baisley pretty much in a pick and a pop, and he was awful. And then I started mixing it up where sometimes I'll use him in the roll, and now all of a sudden he's like a completely different player. So he's catching lobs, he's dunking on people, making contested layups. So I think I figured out how to play with him finally. And in the last 2 games, especially against Sacramento, in the fourth quarter when I got stuck, he was the only guy that was doing anything on offense. So we'll try it out and see, and hopefully he'll develop and get really, really good, so I don't have to draft a center. Let's
Yeah. Is
see,
that what he plays? Is he a power forward or center?
both.
Yeah.
I think they want to use him as a stretch 4, but I can't make jump shots with him, so whatever.
Sure.
It's fine. He's like a poor man's Chris Bosh. By poor, I mean like pretty poor.
Like very poor.
Yeah, and then we went back to Battlefield 1 a little bit. So we played that the other night with John. I can still snipe pretty well. That was nice. I'm still dying more than I did before, but it's because I'm not used to the game and I'm doing weird stuff.
Yeah.
We played one game where we got our absolute shit pushed in. But that map, where were we at? The castle map, what is it called?
Uh.
Ballroom Blitz, something like that.
Oh yeah. That's it. That's it.
That map was always hit or miss for me anyway. I would either be for me. It's like the side we started on by the railroad. Every time I start on that side, I'm terrible. I remember that. And
Yeah, it's hard to get out of that. Location.
If I'm on the other side, I'm so much better. So in that game, that's one of the things he did really well about that game is your spawn can really affect the gameplay, which is realistic to a battle. But anyway, I think that's all I've been playing. I didn't buy anything over the break. I haven't raced any. I have 2 races tomorrow. I haven't practiced at all, so that'll go well.
Oh, yikes.
I think that's it. I think that's it.
Well, it's been a busy couple of weeks for both of us, it sounds like. So I also have been playing NBA 2K21. I haven't been doing any My Team because, I'm just into the league right now, like we've talked about, and I hope to play a game with Charlotte tonight, actually. I've been looking at their real life player rotations, and I'm going to make some tweaks, I think, and just try some different stuff. So, but that's still enjoying the league quite a bit. But however, I did put in all the like Christmas Day locker codes for the My Team and absolutely raked, as I told you. I got like 3 pink diamonds and I got a lot of good cards. So my team
I got
is
nothing.
You got Jason Richardson.
Yeah, he's fine.
So I got him and Allen Iverson and Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete.
He's
some
pretty
other
cheap.
ones.
You can get
Yeah.
a Pete for like $20K.
Yeah, I know. So if I don't like him, I'll sell him. But I got him and Ben Wallace in the same pack that I bought with tokens that I got for free from the locker code. So anyway, they're stacked. I'll play with them at some point. There's a rumor out there that with the new season of My Team that's in like 8 or 9 days that they're going to add a domination tier. So I don't know. I'm still not even done with the second one, but
I almost bought a pink diamond Jason Williams last night for like 38.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
So I don't know. I don't really need him, but I really like Jason Williams, and his passing is it's all like 98. His threes are like a 94. I don't know. I'm going back and forth on it because I only have like 48,000 VC, or whatever it is, My Team points. So I don't want to. I basically be spending it all on one guy. It's kind of hard to bite the bullet.
I spent all mine on Dirk. I only have like 28 left. I spent a nice chunk on Dirk because I wanted him bad, and he was cheap because everybody was getting him from the locker code at Christmas. So I
Mhm.
got him for like 45, which is pretty good for him. He's probably 10 now. Watch, and I guarantee it. But anyway, played Black Ops also, like you said, which we had a good time with that, especially with the prop hunt, like you talked about. However, I had to delete Black Ops to make room for Battlefield 1 because I just had an itch. I just came across some videos on YouTube of people playing it, and it was at 4K on the PS5, and
Mhm.
I
It
knew
looks
that
nice.
you would be in on it, and I figured we could get John to play with us. So it's fun to be back, but it's like you said, a totally different dynamic that I've got to get used to again.
Mhm.
How that game plays and stuff, but it's fun. It's so much fun
Right.
popping heads with the SMLE though. That
Right.
was just like old times.
And the what are they called? The vehicles are so much fun. They're so good.
They really are, yeah. They really are.
Oh, the
Uh,
shotgun. I was using the slug, the M10 slug at Argonne.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you just people poor those guys don't have a shot.
yeah. I was doing that too. And then the guns are just so cool because, like you've talked about before, they just experimented with random shit,
Mhm.
back then because they didn't really know how to. That was
Yeah.
really the kind of like the birth of like automatic weapons and things like that was around that time. So just really unique weapons, which are cool. And then been playing Red Dead Online, still working through the Outlaw Pass. I'm at like rank 67 or 68, so I've got like 32 ranks left, and then I'll delete that for the time being to make some room for other stuff that's coming out. And then have been playing Cyberpunk 2077,
Mhm.
and my opinion has changed a little bit about that game. So I think before I said that I would give it an 8, and I think I would lower it down to a 7,
Mhm.
at least as of right now. So
Because of all the stuff we know or other
yeah,
stuff?
yeah, no, all of the stuff that we know pretty much. So I would say that the gameplay, as far as the combat, is very good, and I think the story is pretty good, and I think the the character interaction, as far as like in cutscenes and things like that, is good as well, and the
Mhm.
dialogue and all that's very good. But the problem for me, one of the problems for me, is that the world just feels dead.
Right.
Especially like when you come from a game like Red Dead, where
Mhm.
I don't
Those
know,
random events and
yeah,
people
there's
just be
not,
shooting each other in the distance for no reason.
yeah, and there's not much of that in Cyberpunk, and that's a problem for me, especially when they kind of made it seem like that would be the case.
Right.
I did witness two guys, one guy blow another guy's head off in Cyberpunk for the first time the other day. So part of me thinks that that random things only happen in certain parts of the map. Like they finished making certain parts of the map, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, and they don't have that in the other part.
Yeah, but here's what really broke the straw for me is the fact that on PS5, even after all of the updates that they've done so far, I still cannot play for more than an hour straight without a game crash. So
Wow.
there's some type of glitch in the code, and I'm not exaggerating. Like literally, once you hit the 60-minute mark, at some point between 60 minutes and the 2 hour mark, the game is going to crash. You can't predict when.
It's
It's just
insane.
random. The only thing that's not random about it is that it's after the 60-minute mark of continuous play. So
That's weird.
yeah. So I was playing the other day, and I was in the middle of a quest. If it's a story quest, sometimes there are multiple parts. Like it might take you 20 minutes to do a story quest, whatever, 30 minutes, depending on what it is, some of the longer ones, and it crashed in the middle of a quest. And I'm like, all right, I'm done with this. So I'm not going to replay the quest over, guys. Like I've just stuck in this place and made these decisions and whatever. Like I'm done. So I quit and I deleted it. I'm not going to play the game until they put the PS5 version out and they fix everything. And
Mhm.
I just feel like when I was playing it, I felt like I was shortchanging myself anyway because by nature,
Probably not
as
ready.
a yeah, and then by nature as a cyberpunk game, like there are glitches and like weird things going on, but the game is so broken in parts that you don't know if a glitch is actually supposed to be a glitch within the game or if it's a glitch like the game's broken. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like
I follow you.
I just feel like I'm not playing the version that they wanted to make. So, and I'm tired of dealing with the 1 hour to 2 hour window crash. So I'm done with that for now. And it was my decision was made a lot easier because of my last game that I've been playing, which is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I got on sale. I told you I'd been waiting for it to be on sale,
Mm-hmm.
and it's on sale for like $45 right now, and it's more than worth the $45 in my opinion. And I would give it right now like maybe a 9.
Wow.
And of course, I'm like 15 or so hours in,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I would give it maybe a 9 right now. So it's first of all, it's a gorgeous game on the PS5, and the combat is very good. It's so satisfying, and they've made a little tweak since Origins, which is the last one that I really played and
Right.
enjoyed, where you can dual wield any two weapons now. So like
Wow.
I can have like a mace and an axe, or I can have two maces, or I can have a dagger, and you can have two shields even, which I haven't tried yet actually.
Interesting.
So there's just so much variety in the combat. Like if I get tired of swinging an axe, whatever, I can just go to my inventory really quick and change it to, a hammer and a dagger, and it just changes like that. So different attacks and different like rhythm and patterns and whatever. So that's
Mm-hmm.
really satisfying. And then there's just so much in the game to do. It's like the complete opposite of Cyberpunk. Like there's so much going on. You can build up your settlement and you can help people there, and you can
Right. You got all the
you can
raids.
you can do raids. You can assassinate assassination targets,
Mm-hmm.
or you can do the main story or whatever. Like you can just take your pick.
Do you still go in and out of the Anubis?
Yes, I've done that once. That's still a thing. So it's interesting.
I never liked that. Can I just
Yeah.
be the guy in the time period? I mean, it's a very small complaint, but
Yeah. Well,
whatever.
it seemed very minimal so far. So it pulled me out one time and it gave me like just a quick little story, like arc bit or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And then I could like jump right back in if I wanted, but I kind of explored a little bit before I did. But so it seems pretty limited. And I think they've kind of picked up on people don't want to be pulled out as much anyway. So I recommend it quite a bit. The only thing I would say what's taking away from it for me a little bit, which makes it a 9, is the fact that there's so much going on in the open world that some of the systems overlap each other, which causes these weird kind of scenarios. Like for instance, I was playing earlier today and I was going to do a side quest, and the location that I needed to go to was a raid site
Mm-hmm.
that I had not raided yet. And then so I get there and there's all kinds of guys from what would be the raid. And it's not a big deal. I can fight all of them off. But then there's also these roaming, like high level enemies, like bounty hunters, basically. They're called zealots in the game. And they
Mm-hmm.
look like, they're just like Templars and stuff. It's kind of cool.
That's cool.
But anyway, I'm not high enough to fight them yet, but they roam the map. And so naturally, as soon as I needed to go to this location to do the side quest, I run into a raid, the side quest, and then one of these roaming bounty hunter guys. So like everything converged on me at one time. And I was getting my shit pushed in. So it was kind of a mess. So that's my only complaint really so far, is that sometimes there's so much going on that you can basically break the systems on each other. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, it's fun.
It's got an 84 on Metacritic.
It's good. It's worth it. I'm really into it. I'm digging it. So that'll be my kind of thing that I play when you guys aren't on. And that's a lot, but that's it. That's everything. So with that, let's jump into the news here, of which there's not a whole lot, Travis, because it's still the holiday lull here. And as we've talked about, most developers send their staff home for a couple weeks around this time. So we'll get through a little bit we do have here. Number 1, the bleeding cannot be stopped at SIE Japan Studio, as Terujuki Toriyama, a producer on Bloodborne, Demon Souls, and Soul Sacrifice, announced on Twitter that he would be leaving the studio at the end of December. Website Push Square reported that Toriyama left to join a new company that is creating a new gaming IP, possibly the newly formed Bokeh Game Studio, where his fellow former Japan Studio colleagues have recently departed to as well, as we have reported in the past couple of weeks here.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 of his colleagues have left to make that studio. So,
Right.
any thoughts on this? It's kind of weird that all these guys are leaving Japan Studio, but what do you think?
Yeah, it's weird, but they're all going to the same place, which is interesting. I would say they got together and were like, look at the last 3 games we made. We can do our own thing and keep more of the profits and be our own boss and that kind of thing. It makes sense to me. A little surprised that they did it. You think SIE Japan kind of saw it coming once a couple of them left together. They probably put it together like, okay, the rest of these guys are kind of in on it. They're all probably working with each other anyway. I'm sure
Right.
they're not totally surprised. But at a certain point, when people have been somewhere for a while, they're going to want to jump off and do their own thing. So I'm not totally
Sure.
surprised. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with, though, and what that looks like without the huge backing of SIE.
Yeah, there's still. I'm so. I'm. I partly think it's what you're saying. Like these guys just wanted to do something on their own, so they're kind of breaking off and doing their own thing. Which this guy Toriyama hasn't said that he's joining Bokeh Game Studio yet, but it seems like it's certainly a possibility. So maybe there's nothing here. Maybe it's just the time, the opportunity was there to move on for these guys, and so they did it. But there has been some rumors too that Sony is kind of, I guess, cooling off on Japan as a primary market, which would be
Mm-hmm.
weird because Sony's based there, but at least for video games, they're cooling on Japan as a primary market. And so I wonder if there is maybe a little truth to that. Part of me wonders that because maybe these guys are seeing a little bit of the writing on the wall and they're getting out while the going's good, as they say, to kind of do something else. So I don't know. It's certainly interesting that they've lost this many kind of senior level staff and leadership from one studio, especially from a first party studio.
Makes you wonder what they're seeing from the inside too. If Sony is cooling on that market, they might be pulling funding, and they probably realize they can't really make what they want to make,
Right.
or maybe they're not allowed to make what they want to make. Maybe Sony wants them to make certain things, and they keep
That's
telling them
true.
no. So they're like, okay, well, we can go do our own thing then, and give it a shot. But that,
Hmm.
if there is smoke, if there's fire where that smoke is, then that would make a lot of sense too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe Sony has told them to go a different direction and make a type of game that they don't want to make. So that's definitely a possibility too. We'll see. Number 2, Sony appears to be betting big on its PlayStation properties on the big and small screens, as website Push Square reported that Sony's newly established PlayStation Productions department has 10 projects in production that are based on PlayStation video games. CEO Tony Vinciquerra, I have no idea if I said that guy's name right, Tony Vinciquerra, recently told news outlet CNBC that 3 productions are movies and the rest are television series. So I wonder if he's counting some of these that are already, in production, like Uncharted and the last movie and The Last of Us show, or if these are new. I wasn't quite clear on that, but either way, this is a big investment in film and TV, to make video game crossovers. What do you think?
I'm not sure that it works the way that they hope it will. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
was The Witcher a big hit?
Yeah, the show was. Yeah, it definitely
Right.
was.
Okay, so that one worked. So I guess there's fire there, but we've seen a lot of
Hmm.
video game movies that aren't great, or a
Yeah.
lot of movies based off, or a lot of games based off movies that aren't great either. So it gives me a little
Yeah.
caution to throw 10 things out like that.
Hmm.
What 10 things could there be besides we know of Uncharted? They have to be counting what we already know about. There's no way.
Sure.
I mean, what else is there?
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think they're including what's already in development. I can't imagine 3 more movies and 7 more TV shows.
Right.
So,
I mean, they're not making a Ratchet and Clank movie. Like,
I mean, you never know though. I mean, what else?
yeah,
That's one of my questions is okay, if you've got 7 shows and 3 movies, all right, you take Uncharted out. So let's assume that you take Uncharted, there's 2 movies, you take The Last of Us out, there's 6 more shows.
right.
That's 8 IP that they have to make movies or shows for. Like
So
what?
God of War.
Yeah, that has to be one, right? Like,
What else is exclusive to them?
I mean, there's a lot of Horizon,
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima, Killzone. But like, are you going to make a show about like
Killzone would be
Apex?
weird.
Yeah, exactly. And then are you going to make a show about like Ape Escape or like Gran Turismo? Like, what are you doing? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm confused about.
Well, Ghost of Tsushima could be cool
Hmm.
because it has to be narrative driven. Like God of War could even be interesting, but I'm not sure how well that works. Like I feel like that would work as an animated cartoon. Although, well, yeah, we saw a thing the other day talking about Gerard Butler playing him, right?
Oh yeah, Jacob sent us that. I had
Right.
not heard that.
So that if that's the case, I just feel like that's a weird live action kind of thing. The Last of
Sure.
Us works really well as a live action. So does Uncharted, because Uncharted basically has those big Hollywood set pieces anyway. It was almost
Yeah.
made to be a movie in the first place.
True.
It was like Michael Bay made a video game, kind of. But
True.
yeah, that's a lot of IPs, and they have to be narrative driven or they don't make sense. So like Astro's Playroom doesn't work.
Hmm.
Although that could be a cool like a kids show.
Yeah, I agree. Number 3, the Cyberpunk 2077 launch debacle continues to get worse for developer CD Projekt Red, as 2 US based law firms announced on Christmas Eve that they would be pursuing potentially class action lawsuits against the Polish studio. Los Angeles based Shaw Law Firm and New York based Rosen Law Firm accuse the developer of making false and misleading statements pertaining to the game. CD Projekt Red has responded publicly, acknowledging the receipt of at least one civil class action lawsuit in California, stating that they, quote, will undertake vigorous action to defend itself against any such claims, end quote. Any thoughts on this?
I mean, they're going to be spending a lot of money to defend themselves. I guess they'd be
Mm-hmm.
spending a lot of money to settle out of court anyway, but I guess the line is, making false and misleading statements about the game. The line is it yeah, you have to prove that they released it knowing that it wasn't what they said, which probably
Right.
isn't that hard to do. But
Right.
when they made those, but the defense would be when they made those statements, they thought it was going to be that. So, how
True.
can you penalize somebody for having? At that point, you're kind of penalizing people for stating their goals. Like if NASA said we're going to the moon, and then we ended up not making it, and we gave them all this
Hmm.
money, do we sue them for not going to the moon? Like you have to give people leeway to express what they're doing. I think that the only way that you win that argument is if from the beginning they knew what they said to do was impossible.
Yeah, that's an
And it,
interesting point.
and it clearly isn't impossible because, Valhalla just did it and Rockstar's done it. And we've seen other, like No Man's Sky has bounced back and recovered. And it's huge and, you know,
Hmm.
random. So I don't know, but CD Projekt Red has made comments in the past that have kind of made it easy for them to lose this
Hmm.
this lawsuit anyway. Like
I
they've
think,
kind of dug their own grave.
yeah, I think they, yeah, I think that they, depending on how they approach it, and then depending on what these law firms can dig up in, investigation or discovery or whatever with evidence, they may be in some trouble here. I think because of how they marketed it, as far as what they showed early on, first of all, which that happens all the time. Games get downgraded or whatever. But not just that, the fact that they only gave out the PC copies for review, based on, because they had incentives based on review scores. I think that's going to, I don't know, something about
Yeah,
that in
that's a bad
particular.
look.
Yeah, something about that in particular seems like it might hit them with that false and misleading statements. And although they didn't make a statement though about it, they misled the public because they only made one version of the game available. You
Yeah,
know,
they misled everybody. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think they're kind of in some trouble here. We'll have to see how it shakes out. But this is going to go on all through 2021 anyway, so we probably won't hear anything about it. Being resolved for quite a while. But if they lose, wondering about is if they lose, what does that look like? Is it like, all right, if you bought Cyberpunk in 2020s, fill out this application and we'll send you $60, as part of the class action lawsuit, something like that, or I have no idea. So that'll be interesting to see what it looks, what the reward or what the award looks like if you're a member of that action. So
Yeah, I mean it'll probably be like when we got like when NCAA football sent money to all the athletes. They'll
yeah,
settle
yeah,
for 28 million, and then they'll divide it up based off of when you bought it or how long your pre-order was.
yeah.
I think it interesting. curve that this could take is, depending on how bad this lawsuit goes and how bad that the reputation has hit in the last few weeks. If it goes really bad, this could kind of end the studio in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they did make, their money back already on the game, which we've talked about. But I mean, depending on how much money they break them over for, I mean, this could definitely hurt them big time. So we'll see. Number 4, PlayStation announced the January PlayStation Plus games this week. Starting January 5th, players can claim the PS5 version of Shark RPG Maneater, which Travis is excited about. The most recent installment of the Tomb Raider franchise, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and the action RPG Greedfall. Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Greedfall are the PS4 versions, which are, of course, backwards compatible on PlayStation 5. Website Push Square also reported that Sony has been issuing refunds for users who recently purchased Maneater, seemingly within the last month or so, amid its new status as a now free PlayStation Plus game. So that's nice of them to do
It
that.
is.
But what do you think about the lineup for January?
I bet the Maneater developer kind of got with Sony and they worked on that together. That's probably what happened there. CD
Yeah.
Projekt Red.
You mean they actually talked? Wow.
I think Maneater is the other TV show we didn't know about. It's just you're just
That's
gonna.
funny.
It's like Jaws every week. The games are fine. Maneater is kind of like a goofy niche game that is
Yeah.
kind of funny that it exists.
Yeah.
Whatever. Everybody loves Tomb Raider to some degree. I think Greedfall is the most interesting because it's a weird RPG that could catch fire. I think.
Yeah. It's definitely been, I guess, Greedfall, when it came out, it was definitely a surprise. So, and I've been interested in it. We've kind of mentioned it on this show a couple times. You texted me about it the other day. It's kind of like The Witcher mixed with like Victorian, like European, like colonial stuff. It's kind of weird,
Right.
but
Sounds kinda
apparently
cool, though.
apparently it's decent. And if it's free, I mean, I'll try it. Why not? So we'll see. And then Maneater, I'm probably definitely going to try that since it's the PS5 version and it's like, a Jaws basically is a video game. So
Right.
I'm
I've seen
gonna
some
check
video
that
on it.
out.
It's just kind of
Yeah,
goofy. It's kind of funny in a weird way. I think it's a little more challenging than it looks like, from what I've watched at least.
really. Hmm. Well, we'll see. It's a good month though. It's a good month overall. Pretty solid. Those are three big games. No indie games really. Maybe you consider Maneater, but 3 big games. So good month. Number 5, Travis, we have some news nuggets here as well that we'll get through. As always, feel free to jump in. First nugget, website Push Square reported that console customization retailer D-Brand will have custom PS5 faceplates entering mass production soon. They
You think
seem to
you'll
be,
get one?
I don't know. If they have a black one, I may consider it, but I feel like they're
Mhm.
going to get sued by Sony like that other company. So I don't
Right.
know if they'll actually make it.
I feel like a bunch of them they're gonna make are gonna be really like like you're on an acid trip and there's a bunch of lines and letters and I don't
Yeah.
want that. I want it to be cool. I want like a game theme or like
Yeah.
just something really interesting. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get something that's like letters and bubbles and lines. I don't need that.
Yeah. A wood grain one may interest me because it would fit in my, my entertainment
Right.
cabinet. It would look kind of cool
Yeah,
depending
that'd
on
be
the,
cool.
yeah, or a gray one, something like that. But I don't see how these guys are doing this. I can't believe they haven't been sued already. So we'll see. Next nugget, Push Square also reported that Cyberpunk 2077 has sold more than 13 million copies as of
hmm
December 20th, even after accounting for issued refunds to that date. Wow. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that developer Respawn Entertainment is working on a new IP, according to a recent job listing. It's interesting. That global gaming sales have totaled nearly $180 billion this year, an amount greater than both the North American sports industry and movie industry combined.
Well,
That's
I
that's
mean,
insane.
nobody bought tickets for either of those because of the pandemic,
Exactly.
so I'm not really sure.
I had that same thought. Yeah, they're stunted. They were stunted from the pandemic. So
Yeah.
we'll see next year. PlayStation Lifestyle also reported that the upcoming PlayStation 4 and PS5 indie adventure game, Kena Bridge of Spirits, will feature a variety of haptic feedback and adaptive trigger features. DLC was also teased by one of the game's co-creators. PlayStation Lifestyle reported that farming and life simulation game Stardew Valley will receive update 1.5 on PS4 next year, adding a new farm and split-screen multiplayer. That Tekken franchise director and producer Katsuhiro Harada is reportedly working on a new project at publisher Bandai Namco that has the company's largest development budget ever in the history of the company.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Oh, that can't be a fighting game, that's for sure. PlayStation Lifestyle also reported that Nier Automata director Yoko Taro and producer Yosuke Saito announced they are working on 2 new games together, and that Sony Interactive Entertainment has relocated their Asia operations headquarters from Hong Kong to Singapore.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
That's blame China. I bet that has a lot to do with China and the Hong Kong situation.
I would say so. Good time to get out there. Good as
Right.
time as any.
We'll go to Singapore. Let's just look at Japan as I hear island hopping again.
I heard you can get good sticks in Singapore. Website PlayStation Universe reported that Neo 2 is the last entry in the hardcore action game franchise, according to game director Fumihiko Yasuda. That Bully 2 from Rockstar Games was canceled for a 3rd time in 2017 to focus on development of Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto 6.
Perfect. I got to be honest with you. I don't give a shit about Bully. I think it's a retarded game.
I never played the first one, so I have no idea what it is.
Just the idea of it is annoying to me. I don't.
Yeah.
We need some more whatever. It's just fucking make a good game.
Just give us GTA 6 and Red Dead 3.
Like, you're going to sell 2 copies of Bully 2. Why don't you just fucking do this?
PlayStation Universe also reported that survival horror game Sons of the Forest, the sequel to the indie hit The Forest, has been confirmed for a 2021 release in a new trailer.
Oh, God, this is going to be in the top 10 in Europe for another decade.
Dude, I know. The Forest, we've talked about it. The Forest is always in the top 10. It still sells. It's on sale right now. It's got me curious to play it, but I don't want to be chased and hunted down by cannibals or whatever that's in the game.
I do that every day. Do that every day at work anyway.
That's right. PlayStation Universe also reported that a new horror game from Silent Hill creator Keiichiro Toyama is targeting a 2023 release. Website Gematsu reported that the PlayStation 5 shipped 3.4 million units in its first 4 weeks and is expected to reach up to 18 million units through 2021, according to the DigiTimes.
What's crazy is that sounds like such a big number, and then you think about it, and it's like there's like 10 times that many people that live in Chicago or something. And it seems like there's none out there. I don't know. It's weird how numbers work in my head. Like, if you gave me $3.4 million, I'd be like, holy shit. And then if you told me to give $1 to every person in the state, I would be like, oh, that's not really anything, is it?
Right, exactly. I know. Gematsu also reported that Arc System Works has announced a new fighting game called DNF Duel, based on the online action RPG Dungeon Fighter Online.
Dungeon Fighter. That's a great name.
I know. That demo developer Rayark has announced a new action game called Binary Gods, but no platforms or release date were given. And finally, Gematsu reported that upcoming action game Anno Mutationum, which we I believe saw at a PlayStation State of Play earlier in the year or last year.
That sounds right.
It has now been delayed to Q3 of 2021, and it has also added a native PlayStation 5 version in addition to the PlayStation 4 version. And that is all for the news this week. Like we said, it's a pretty slow week. With that, we'll get into the new game releases, which people aren't even really updating those either. We only got up until Christmas Day basically here, but I'll kick it over to Travis for the new games.
On December 21st, we had Rhythm of the Gods, which I read that title as they sing the rhythm of the night.
Yes.
I don't even know who sings that, but that's how I read it every time.
I agree.
On December the 22nd, we have Brunswick Pro Billiards, Override 2 Super Mech League on the 5 and the 4, PBA Pro Bowling 2021 on the PS4, and who am I? I am me.
Let's get that. They have
an
online league. Let's do it.
On the 23rd, we had 16-bit soccer, which sounds pretty sweet. Dogfights, Rigid Force Redo. And on Christmas Eve, we had Acted Out Extra Large, a game of charades. Dungeon
Huh.
Top, Elliot, which is you're Elliot, you're Ellen Page.
I knew you were gonna do it.
Anyway,
Oh man. Uh-huh.
uh, following Ellen Page, we have One Strike, Shiny Ski Resort, which is in North Korea, Spirit Arena, Super Sports Blast, and The Last Dead End.
That dungeon top is some of the best you can get, huh?
Yeah, you really like Dungeon
And
Top. It's crazy.
yeah, and that's all for the new game releases this week. What a week! What a week, Travis. Let's begin to wrap things up here. Wanted to discuss with you if you had any bold 2021 gaming predictions. I'll start first. My gaming prediction for 2021 is that PlayStation reveals a new first party multiplayer shooter.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know if that's going to be Killzone, because we do know that Guerrilla Studios has a second team working on another
Mm-hmm.
game.
Right.
And we know that they, in the past couple of years, they've been hiring people who worked on shooter games. Like they hired the guy who was either the director, I think the game director, or like the senior producer on Rainbow Six Siege. And they've been hiring some other people who work on shooters. So they're working on a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But is that Killzone or is that something else? Or is there another team? Because there are a couple teams that we've talked about that we don't really know what they're doing per se.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they could have like a SOCOM style game,
Right.
like a third person action game in the works.
But more
But
strategy based.
yeah, I definitely, just something in my plums tells me that they're working on a multiplayer competitive shooter.
Mhm.
And because that's just such a big genre and there's so much room to breathe there. And even though they do have, the only thing that is kind of working against them, I guess, is the fact that they have an agreement with Call of Duty for like exclusive, whatever maps and
Mhm.
content and marketing shit like that. But I can't help but feel like they've got something in the pipeline. So that's my bold prediction, is that they're working on a multiplayer first party shooter that they're going to reveal at some point in 2021. You got any predictions?
My unbold, not bold prediction is God of War gets delayed until 2022.
Hmm. Mm-mm.
That's my unbold one. My bold prediction is that Deathloop will win some award at the Game of the Year awards,
Really?
and I don't know
Interesting.
what. I definitely think the easy one would be like art direction, something like that.
Yeah.
That would be easy to do. But I think it has a lot of potential based off of what we've seen and read about it. I think it could be not a surprise
Mm-hmm.
per se, but I think it has a lot. They could win in like the music department, the art direction, even on some gameplay. It's probably not going to win on narrative, but it could maybe win fan
Okay.
choice or something like that. It'll be hard to win fan choice with some of these games coming out though. That might be
Yeah.
a little stretch. But anyway,
Yeah.
I think it'll win something because it's. I mean, it's so different. Like I think it will definitely be there. At least be nominated. Can I backtrack and say nominated?
Whoa, whoa. No, you said it was going to you said it was going to win an award.
All
Yeah, we're
right.
not going to
Well,
backtrack here.
it'll win. It'll win something.
Okay. That's fair. That's a decent chance of that. So that's big. That's big. It's going to be a hot year, so that would be big for them. Well, let's begin to close the episode here. Travis, talk to me about what games you're going to be playing in the week ahead here as we get back on our normal schedule.
Um, I have 2 races tomorrow. The Cats play at noon and 6, so I have a chance to be disappointed 4 times, which is a lot.
Yeah.
I have an F2 race at 2 o'clock. I have no idea what track we're at. I haven't even looked at it. Who knows? That'll probably be terrible. Then our GT Sport race, I'll do that one late at night. I think it's at the Nürburgring, which is really difficult and it's hard to pass. So you really need a good qualifying lap to really be competitive. And it's that in the way the game's set up, there's so many penalties that who knows how that'll go. But I'll try to stream both of those on the podcast YouTube channel
Nice.
so that guy can dislike them as well. Tonight I'll probably play our league. I'm ready to see what Baisley does in the starting lineup. I'm trying to learn. It seems like the computer adapts to how you play in the game, and I don't really adapt very well to their adaptation. So like usually in the first and second quarter, I get rolling pretty well. And then at halftime, they either like don't let me shoot threes or they don't let me get to the rim. And that completely changes the way I've been playing. And then I end up blowing huge leads. So there's
Yeah.
something in there I'm not catching.
Right.
But the way my team is set up, I'm kind of one dimensional anyway. Because it's not like I don't have dead eye shooters. I don't have a post guy like Joel Embiid to make shots and do post moves. So I'm
Yeah.
really one dimensional, as I have to get into the paint basically, and then either kick it out or drive or drop it off or dunk. That's really all I can do. So, if I get cut off and they learn that, it's really difficult for me to score. Which,
Hmm.
ironically, the Thunder figured out in real life last night. They scored 7 points in the fourth quarter last night.
Good God.
And I could tell you, I've been there. It happens.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it does.
so they're a team in real life. They'll be really good probably in 2 years when those guys learn kind of how to play. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll play some Battlefield 1 tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, I can get into a plane. I really wanted to get into a plane, and everybody gets in them so fast. It's
Yeah.
really asking a lot. But I want to play. Where was the map? I was the map I wanted to play the other day. We couldn't play it. Empire's Edge. I really want to
Oh,
play
yeah.
that. I really like
Really?
that one.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll get into
Well,
that tonight.
yeah, I think so. It's in the cards, I would hope. I'm going to play NBA 2K as well, continue with the league. Still trying to figure out my team. I do know that I have to get defense. My team is
Hmm.
awful at defense. So I've got to either draft or sign guys in the offseason that can play defense. So that's my number one need. And then continue to play Battlefield 1, trying to get back in the groove on that as well. And I'll push forward with my Outlaw Pass on Red Dead, trying to get that all the way to 100 so that I can move on from that for a while until they decide to give us new content, which they do only about every 6 or 7 months. Then I'm going to also continue with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, just play that at my leisure. And that game will probably, I'll be playing that for probably the whole year, is my guess, just because there's just so much going on, and I just kind of do whatever I want to do whenever I play. I don't really do any set thing, but just kind of meandering. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I might mix in some Dirt 5. I do that
Hmm.
randomly. I'll just mix in a couple races. I love racing in
Yeah,
the cockpit view or whatever camera that is.
the game's a lot of fun. It's really good.
It is a good game.
You had a pretty sick picture you put up the other day too from it.
Oh yeah, I loved that picture. That was dope. The snow looked so real in that picture. It was
It really
crazy.
does.
Yeah. I think that's it. So
Hmm.
that's enough. It's quite enough. So
Before we go, I want to give one more shout out to CD Projekt Red
oh.
for shrinking down humans to make kids. All
Oh
they do is
yes.
shrink them. It's hilarious. I mean, they
Oh my
look
god.
fucking ridiculous. It's
Oh my
outrageous.
god. They dude, what a game. It's like
It's so ridiculous.
it's such a weird fucking game. It's like it's so good in some respects and at some points, and then there's other times where you're just like beside yourself. You're like,
Right.
how
So
the
they
fuck
got
did they
lazy
even
and
do
cut a
this?
corner.
Yeah, it's like, how did they even do this? It's almost like one team was like really busting ass, and another team was like, all right, we're fucking done. We're burnt out. I don't give a shit. Let's just shrink these
Right.
humans down. Like,
It's
I
so
don't
funny
know.
looking.
It's like the gameplay. It's like the combat, like shooting. Whatever team made that, we're like, yeah, this is something. We're doing some shit, and then everybody else is like, oh, okay, we're tired. We're done. I don't know. What a weird game. What a weird dichotomy they're having right now. I'm sure they'll fix it. There's no doubt about that. But anyway, that's all we've got this week, Travis. So let's get out of here and we'll do it again next week. So if you guys enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode and leave us a review. Don't just give us a thumbs down. Leave us a comment. Tell us why you gave us a thumbs down. We would appreciate it. It's okay. Just tell us. We need context. We're contextual people.
Yeah, we're men. We need context.
Whew, Jesus. And then also share us with a friend. If you have a friend who you think may enjoy a podcast such as this, where they can get all of the week's PlayStation news in less than 90 minutes every week on Sundays. If you guys want to talk with us, you can do that on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. If you want to check out some of our game streams and clips, like Travis streaming his races tomorrow, you can do that on YouTube at the DualSense Pod. And we'll also tweet out whenever we go live. So look for that there. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk at you next week.